We are here for the encore presentation of how to achieve your goals without quitting or getting off track. So this is really exciting, just in time for the new year. And the purpose of this webinar is to teach you how to achieve your goals without quitting or getting off track, okay? This is going to be the key to absolutely crushing your goals in 2018, okay? So if that's what you want to do, you came to the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my slideshow and I'm going to pop off of the screen, and I will pop in every now and then so that you can see that I'm still here and that we're live, okay? So I'm going to have time for Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, please save them for the end. Lynette says a little delayed. Can anyone else let me know if the sound is delayed? Because I want to see if I can fix that before we begin. Okay, Mabel says no. So Lynette, maybe it's something with your Wi-Fi connection right now. So I will try to talk a little slower. Sound is good. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so that you can, hi Liz, so that you can see, we got people from all over the country today. I'm really excited. So that you can see my screen. I'm going to pop off of the video. And like I said, then I will pop in a little bit afterwards. Okay, so get comfortable, grab a piece of paper and a pen. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and do that now. I'm going to have you do just a little bit of writing once we get started, okay? So go ahead, grab a paper and a pen, and I'm going to get the slideshow set up. Okay, so let's stop video and let's go back here. You're grabbing your paper and your pen, right? Let's share that. And here we go. So before we go, I want you guys to let me know if you can see the first slide here. It says, how to achieve your goals without quitting or getting off track. It's got a big gold key. So let me know in the chat box if you can see that. I'm going to pop up the chat box really quickly. Let me know. Let's see. Chat, chat, chat. Yes, you can see it. Excellent. So let's go back to that. All right, guys. Here is what we're going to cover today. The 4 main reasons why people don't finish what they start or why they don't get started in the first place. Then we're going to cover the one very important thing that's missing from how you set your goals right now that's going to make all the difference in the future. Then we're going to go over the simple 3-step process that I have for quick proofing your goals. And then I've got a special offer at the end for those of you who are super serious about crushing it in 2018 and are ready to do so. Okay, so let's begin. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Perez-Beebe. I'm a mindset coach, renowned health and fitness trainer, a former success coach for new entrepreneurs, and a strategic intervention life coach. And for more than a decade, I've been known for my bold, action-oriented style, getting my clients incredible life-transforming results by teaching them how to tap into their innate power so they can master their mindset, accomplish their greatest goals, and really just manifest the life that they want to live. How's that sound to you guys? I'm going to check in with you one more time just to make sure that you can still see the slides. So type in the chat box really quickly and let me know that you can see the slide. I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to look for the chat. Can you guys still see it? Awesome. Excellent. So the split screen is not working today, so that doesn't matter. We're just going to flip back and forth. Okay, let's roll with it. Before we begin, I just want to address any doubts or skepticism that you might have right now. So anything in the back of your mind that's telling you that this might not be for you, that you don't believe you can do whatever it is that I'm going to share with you today. You know, maybe you're feeling already doubtful that it won't work for you. Maybe you're hesitant because you've tried other things in the past and it didn't work, okay? And some of you are worried that this is just another thing that you'll start and not finish. Whatever your fears, doubts, or skepticism are, anything that you have going on in your mind right now, I'm going to ask you to just let it go. Okay? That right now, for just this hour, you release any resistance that comes up so that you can be in a headspace to actually hear and fully receive what I'm sharing with you today. Okay? So I'm asking you to open your mind so that you're not coming up with reasons why you can't do this, okay, or why it's not for you. I only want you focused on being open to why this will work for you. All right? In order to do that, I'm going to ask you to do two things. The first one, and this is very important, is you need to minimize all distractions. So make sure that right now you're in a quiet place where you won't be distracted. If you need to get up and go to another room, do that now. Close the door, whatever you need to do, okay? Turn everything off that could be a distraction for you. If you're not using your phone to watch this, put it away. Silence your phone so that you're not getting distracted by notifications. Same thing on your computer. Turn those notifications off, close your browser. Basically, if you try to multitask during this training, your brain is not going to absorb the information, okay? You're not going to receive it and download it as clearly as you would if you gave it your undivided attention. So do that for yourself so that you can get the most out of it, okay? Next, what I want you to do is grab a piece of paper. That's that paper and pencil that I told you to grab earlier. And write down right now one goal, just one, okay? One goal that you've been wanting to achieve, but that you haven't had any success with. So this is something that you've tried to achieve in the past or that you're currently trying to achieve, but it hasn't been working, okay? Go ahead and write that down. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to do that. And I want you to keep that in very plain view throughout this training, okay? The one thing that you haven't been able to achieve that you want to. Okay, so now that you've minimized your distractions, you've written down your goal, let's begin. The method and the strategies that I'm going to teach you today work all of the time, okay? They do. But I know that some of you might be thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, Jessica, because you're a coach, you're one of those people who's really good at achieving goals. And you're right. However, what you might not know is that I wasn't always. In fact, for a long time, I didn't even know how to set goals. Growing up, I wasn't in a home environment or a community where that was really even talked about. I remember being in high school and everyone around me had athletic goals, right? They played sports, or they had academic goals, they belonged to clubs, or they were planning their future after school. I wasn't doing any of that, not even close. In fact, I was pretty lost. I didn't even study for the SATs. I didn't even, really know what to do for that. I just remember not having any idea or any direction. Then a little bit later on, I did start to have some goals, right? But I would set them so small, so super small that it was like impossible to fail, right? And then eventually in my young adulthood, I did get more interested in setting goals and better at setting them and pursuing them, but not at fully achieving them. Okay, so I just kind of achieved my goals. That means I'd get some success in that goal, but then I'd stop before I got any great success. I did that with my health. I did that with my fitness goals in the beginning. I did that with my very first business. And looking back, I understand why. There were some deep-seated reasons that had to do with my environment. So, most of the people around me weren't really setting goals. They weren't reaching big in their life. And those who did have some aspirations, most of them were just giving up on their dreams or not finishing what they started, right? So I didn't see a lot of people, the adults in my life especially, reaching really high. Instead, I saw them settling, and not having anyone set the bar for me or really encourage me to dream bigger or set bigger goals or take, more risks. That had a lot to do with, why I struggled setting goals or even setting big goals, right? Expecting more for myself. Now, that was my personal situation. Maybe you can relate, or perhaps your situation's different. For you, it could be the opposite. Maybe your parents or siblings were overachievers, and so you never felt like you could match up, right? So you simply didn't even try, or you don't try, or you just quit. Basically, everyone's deep-seated reason is unique to them, but the reason doesn't matter, okay? Here's the kicker. The reason doesn't matter. The system matters. Because once I made the decision that I wanted a different reality than those around me, that I had bigger goals, bigger dreams, I realized I needed to do things differently than they had done them, right? I needed to change the system by which I was operating. And once I did that, once I started following this goal setting system I developed, I hit every single one of my big goals every single time. So that's what started to happen, is that whenever I did set a goal from that point forward, I achieved it every time, not just 60% or 70%. I achieved 100% of it, okay? Things just started to work out. So it was my commitment plus my effort, plus the universe matching my new energy that just started to line everything up. So like the perfect coach would show up, or a new friend, or somehow I'd find the money I needed or borrow the money, or whatever it was to achieve my goal, I did it, okay? Here's a snapshot of some of the goals that I personally achieved. So I set a goal to pay off my mortgage in 10 years. I was able to do that with cash in 9 years. Then I set a goal to finally stop wasting time dating the wrong guys, to fully focus my energy on manifesting my ideal partner. And I met my husband 2 days later, okay? I set a goal to become an entrepreneur and take a really big risk by leaving a good paying job with benefits. And I did that. I went to massage school in the evenings, and a year later, I started my own massage business. And since then, I've started 3 more businesses and went on to coach and mentor new entrepreneurs, okay? Later on, I set a goal to challenge myself physically and mentally by training to become a physique athlete and doing something way out of my comfort zone, which was performing on stage. I did that, and I went on to win 7 titles in 2 different countries in less than 2 years. When I became a mom overnight to my niece, I set a goal to sell my thriving business that I loved for a great profit so that I could transition to being a full-time mom, and I did that in less than a year. As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to travel and live all over the world and be location independent, which is exactly what I've been doing now for the past 3 years. And the point is that once I started following this goal setting system that I developed, I hit every single one of my big goals every single time, and you can too. So whatever your fear stems from, whatever the cause from childhood or etc. of why you keep falling short of your goals, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. I want you to know that. All you need to succeed is the right system, and that's what you're going to learn today. All right, so here are the 4 reasons why people get off track or don't finish what they start, or why they don't even get started in the first place. Number 1, overwhelm. Number 2, procrastination. Number 3, lack of direction. And number 4, fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of change. Do you recognize yourself in any one of these 4 things? Now, each of these reasons why people quit or never begin all comes down to the same reason. It all stems from the same thing. And this is the one thing you've been missing from all of your goals that's going to make the difference going forward. And that one thing is commitment. You haven't actually committed to your goal. Look at that goal on your paper. You have not gone all in, okay? And here's why. Here's why you haven't committed. Let's break this down. If you are feeling overwhelmed, it's because you're trying to do too many things at once. When you try to do too many things at once, you have too many goals, that prevents you from being able to fully commit to one thing all the way to completion, okay? Procrastination. Believe it or not, procrastination stems from perfectionism and control, okay? Which are pretty much the same things in a different package. So if you keep putting off what you want to do or that you know you need to do to get to your goal, it's because you're waiting for the perfect time or the perfect circumstances, right? Or because you're hesitating getting started because you don't know what will happen, you know, the what if. That comes down to control, okay? If you're lacking direction, you don't know where to go, what to do next, you know, that's because, again, you haven't committed to one thing 100%. So you're still wishy-washy about what it is you actually want. So you probably have a few goals that you're kind of pursuing. And then, so again, you haven't gone all in on the one thing, right? And that's where the lack of direction comes from. And fear of anything, change, failure, success, again, that all comes down to not releasing control, right? If you're afraid of change, it's because you're not able to control the outcome. So you constantly delay or come up with reasons why you can't. If you're afraid of failure or even success, there goes the perfectionism, the control. That's always going to prevent you from committing to something. Because if you've got those thoughts, what if I fail? What if I succeed? How will I handle that? Will I be ready? What will people think of me? That's going to always hold you back from going all in. Okay? So overwhelm, procrastination, lack of direction, fear. One of those is the main reason that you haven't committed 100%, right? It's why you've been struggling to achieve the goal that you wrote on that piece of paper. All right? So what does commitment even look like? What does it mean to go all in? I get asked this question a lot. When you commit to something, you do it even after the desire has passed or the motivation and excitement has worn off, right? So if you set something as a goal, you go for it even after you have lost the passion for it, right? That's what committing to a goal and going all in means. You do it even when you don't feel like it because you made a commitment, all right? I want you to think about your commitment to your goals like you would being a parent, or let's say being married to your soulmate. I often say that you must marry your goal, okay? You must marry your goal. And I'm not talking about some drunken Vegas marriage that you plan to annul the next day. Think of this as marrying your soulmate, that person you've been waiting for, right? Who also happens to be gorgeous, rich, extremely loving, supportive, everything that you've been dreaming of. Now that's a person that you want to stay committed to, right? You know you're in it till the end. But guess what? That doesn't mean that he or she isn't going to annoy the crap out of you some days. It doesn't mean you won't have disagreements. It doesn't mean you won't have tough times. That comes with the territory in commitment to anything. Because in marriage, as in all aspects of life, there's going to be challenges. Does that mean you walk out on your marriage? Does it mean you walk out on your children? Of course not. That's how I want you to think about your goals. You don't just walk out on your goal or your dream when it gets tough or inconvenient. You can cry, you can have a fit, but you don't quit because you committed, right? You know that the tough moments are going to pass. So when you commit to someone or something, you need to be all in. And here is why that's important. Here's why your commitment matters, okay? Commitment to your goals strengthens your commitment to yourself. Write that down. Commitment to your goals strengthens your commitment to yourself. When you give up on your goals, you give up on yourself. Every time you quit before you hit your goal, you make it that much easier to quit next time. Okay? You need to strengthen your stick-to-itiveness, that commitment muscle. When you do see something all the way through to completion, it automatically increases your confidence in yourself. It automatically increases your ability to trust yourself. And it decreases the fear that you have going forward in life, right? Because when you come out on the other side of it, you know what's possible. And so you're less hesitant to take those risks. I want you to think about this. Studies show that most people quit just before they hit their goal. I know this to be true because I've seen it with so many people who are almost there, but they give up because they think that whatever challenge or sticking point they're experiencing means they've already failed, right? And they don't realize that it always gets tougher right before you win, right? I always think of this as I think of like an endurance race or any kind of fitness challenge, right? The longer you've been at it, it gets a little bit tougher, right? So think about that person who wins the race. They're pushing hard at the end, right? It always gets tougher just before you win. So it's very sad to think of all the people that are quitting just before they're about to have that big win. So here is my 3-step process to quit proof your goals, okay? You've got to choose the right goal, number 1. Now, I know this seems obvious, but so many people pick the wrong goals. So many people choose goals based on what they think they should be doing or what their friends or family members think they should be doing, right? Now, you may recognize this from my Get Set method for those of you who have taken the Get Set course. This is key to defining your goal, okay? Your disgust is what determines your goal. It also determines your reason why you've picked this goal, okay? So I want you to think about this. When you set a goal, a big goal, it can't be something that you just kind of want to change or accomplish, or that you think you want to change or accomplish, right? Or that you're just a little uncomfortable with, because you're not going to stick through those tough times if you don't have that deep disgust, right? If you've got wishy-washy energy, that's not going to amount to any real change or accomplishment. Okay, you've got to be completely disgusted by whatever it is in your life you want to change or accomplish. Ask yourself this question. I want you to think about this. Actually, I'd like you to write it down. Find some room on that paper. Write down, what am I disgusted by in my life right now? Okay, what am I disgusted by? You must be disgusted by whatever it is that you want to change or accomplish. Your why needs to be big. It comes from what you're disgusted by because it's what you're no longer going to put up with, or you're no longer going to sit around waiting for, right? The absence of something. I can guarantee you there's something in your life that in the past you were disgusted by, right? Didn't it propel you to make some kind of change? Think about that. For me, let me share a quick little example. Mine was cigarette smoking, right? So when I was a teenager and all the way until I was 23 years old, I smoked cigarettes. Everybody in my family smoked. Almost every single one of my friends, my boyfriend at the time, I was surrounded by smoking. And I just smoked because I thought it was the thing to do. I actually didn't even really enjoy smoking, but it still is something that I was doing and that became a habit for me and became part of my routine, right? What happened though, is I got to the point where I was so grossed out by cigarettes. I was so disgusted by the smell of it on anyone, including myself, that I couldn't stand it anymore. I decided I'm going to quit smoking. Now, how many people do you know who say they're going to quit smoking, or they quit smoking and they smoke again? Well, I quit on that day and I never, ever smoked again. You know why? My disgust was so great that for every time it was tough for me or I wanted to smoke again, that deep disgust I had, that saw me through it, right? That got me through those moments. Everybody else around me continued to smoke, right? So I was around it every single day. Now, if you're somebody who smokes, right? But it doesn't cause the same kind of disgust that I just described, you know, for me in my life, but you make it your goal to quit because you think it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing for your health, or others in your family want you to do it. Guess what? You're probably going to fail. You're going to smoke again, because even though you have all those reasons why on paper, it doesn't disgust you enough, right? the disgust doesn't outweigh the pleasure. And that's why you won't commit to it. Okay, so this is why I'm telling you, you've got to set your goal based on your disgust. In my Get Set method, we have a specific exercise for determining this, but all you need to do is sit down with this, really think about it, and come to your own conclusion, okay? So, the second thing that you need to do is you need to commit to being all in. This comes down to marrying your goals, okay? You must marry your goal. I kind of talk about this also with, like, you know, when you go to the pool and the water's cold and you put a toe in and then you kind of put half your leg in and then you might get up to your knee and then you might kind of get in and kind of tiptoe around, or you might not even get in, right? Because it just feels so cold and it's that whole delay and da 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 da. But the person who just jumps right in is instantly acclimated to the water, right? So you've got to be all in, not just part of the way in, not just one toe in and the rest of your body out, okay? You got to do it when it's difficult, when you don't feel like it, because the reward is going to be so worth it, all right? Commitment is key. And this is often why I have people write a commitment contract with themselves. Okay, now the third and final thing is you need to have support and guidance from an expert in the field that you are trying to accomplish, or someone who's already achieved the goal that you are trying to achieve. Okay, here's why having guidance and support of an expert or someone who's already done it makes a big difference. Okay, when you try to do it alone, it's very easy to fail. It doesn't come down to, you know, willpower or anything like that. Here's the reasons why people fail on their own. Number one, it's because what works in the beginning doesn't work later on. And when you're on your own, you don't know that, right? So it's what you do tomorrow to get towards your goal is not the same thing you're going to need to do halfway through, you know, or a quarter of the way through, or 3/4 of the way through, even all the way at the end. All right. And that's the main reason people quit, because they think they're failing when in fact, all they needed to do was pivot to the next step. Okay. Also, if you're doing it alone, you have no one to be accountable to. That's really key. When it gets tough, it's going to be easy to quit if you don't have someone guiding you, if you don't have someone holding you accountable, or just reminding you that you're on the right track. Okay. Also, when you're on your own, you can feel like you've made a mistake or that you've gotten off track, right? And so it's easy to beat yourself up and think that you don't have what it takes. Now, a professional or someone who's already been there knows that that's normal, that it's par for the course, right? And she can talk you off the ledge and get you back on track so you don't get sucked into that sense of failure, right? And then finally, on your own, you don't have one pointing out or celebrating the small successes along the way. And that is so important, because if you don't recognize the little successes that you have, you don't realize that those are the things that actually lead up to the big success. That's what gets you to your goal, right? The things that you accomplish along the way, the small things that you do monthly, weekly, daily. Okay. And that's what someone who's been there can do for you. Okay. So before I tell you about the special offer I have for you, really quickly, I'd like to share with you what some of my clients have said about having a coach and the difference it's made in their ability to achieve their goals. Okay. So let's hear what Willie has to say. As my success coach, Jessica's insight on how to improve my business was spot on. She's a person of integrity with a strong passion for helping others in all areas of life. She's inspired me to do greater things. If you feel stuck in your business or a rut in life, Jessica can help. Okay, let's see what Melissa says. Has had a big impact on my life physically and mentally. Leadership skills and quality of work are inspiring. Working with her motivated me to expand my skill set and to pursue avenues in my career that I hadn't considered. Think about that. Motivated me to expand my skill set to pursue avenues in my career that I hadn't considered. Okay. Jessica's knowledge base is broad, and I've always felt confident and empowered after my sessions with her. Kathleen says, this has been a remarkable experience. Yes, it was, Kathleen. I loved everything about it. If you think you want to change, if you want to see results and feel amazing, Jessica's the coach for you. She understands day in and day out, work, stress, running a business, craziness of each day. She really helped me through it. Mush, who I've worked with for 10 years, says, Jessica's pushed me mentally and given me great insight, inspired me to be a better father, husband, and coach, had a huge influence on my life, encouraged me to pursue things I never would have done on my own. There goes that sentence again, okay? That's the key to having somebody in your corner, right? That's the key to having somebody who can coach or mentor you through. The fact that you are with someone and you're not doing it on your own automatically opens you up to things that you wouldn't have considered. Okay. And Kathy says, having Jessica as a coach is simply amazing. Not only is she helpful and smart, but she's inspired me to go that extra mile. Jessica is truly dedicated to the success of her clients. So that just gives you an idea of what working with a coach, any coach, can do for you. Not just me, but somebody who's really committed to helping you achieve your goal. Okay. So if you like what I shared with you in this training, I'd like to invite you to work with me one-on-one so that we can make 2018 one of your best years yet. I have actually just 3 spots. I have to cross that off. Yep, I have 3 spots open, and this is for the person who is really ready to crush it in 2018, okay? This is for you if you're ready to achieve your financial goals, your relationship goals, career goals, health goals, confidence goals, whatever goal that you have. This is for the person who's sick of procrastinating, sick of falling short of your goals, tired of giving up on yourself, and who no longer wants to do it the hard way, the long way, the lonely way. Whatever your goal is, this program is going to set you up to achieve it. This is a fully personalized one-on-one coaching with me. And like I said, I only have 3 spots left now. Yesterday I had 5, today I have 3. So I'm looking for 3 people who are fully committed to achieving that goal that you wrote down on your paper, okay? So your monthly investment is going to range from $797 to $997. That's going to depend on the length of the time that we work together. And for this training, I'm offering a very special discounted paid in full option. Now, let me tell you what this program is going to do for you, okay? It's going to remove any obstacles that are holding you back. It's going to help you overcome past obstacles and assure that you set the right kind of goals that align with who you really are, all right? It's going to give you a solid fail-proof system for staying on track and never quitting again. Going to strengthen your mindset and bring you big breakthroughs in 2018. Now, if this sounds like a good fit for you, I don't want you to make a decision to buy right now. What I want you to do is to click the link that I'm going to put in the text box, in the chat box, okay? And so that you can set up a call to talk to me and we can figure out if this is actually the next best step for you. Okay, so when you schedule that call with me, I'll ask you some questions. You can ask me questions, and we'll determine if this program is a good fit for you. All right, if it is a good fit, I'm going to give you an invitation to start working with me. And if it's not, you'll at least have gotten some great information, a great plan that you can use right away. I might even refer you to something or someone else that will help you. Okay, either way, you're going to get off the phone with more clarity. All right, so I'm going to put the link in the chat box so that you can pick a time to talk to me. I've actually opened up my calendar for a couple hours today and tomorrow throughout the weekend so that I can talk to you. Okay, now listen, you're on this webinar now because you want to accomplish your goals, right? You want to stop quitting on yourself. And by now, you pretty much know if you want to work with me or not, okay? If you're one of the 3 who takes me up on this offer, 2018 is going to be one of the best years yet, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat box, and then I am going to, let's minimize this, and let's see, I'm going to go over here. Uh-oh, where am I? I'm going to open it up for some Q&A as soon as I get back on here. And Let me get that link for you. And there's a button down at the bottom, guys. There's a tab that says Q&A. If you have a question, please pop it in there right now. Let me put this in the chat box for you. Okay, there's the link to schedule with me. It's right there in the bottom of the chat box. I'm gonna pop up the video so I can see you guys. Hey, and there's a little box there next to, down on the bottom bar that says Q&A. So I've got 5 minutes to answer any questions that you all have for me. If you wanna pop it in there, if you wanna ask me anything about what we just went over, or if you wanna ask me anything about scheduling a call with me, go ahead and do that now, okay? I wanna know from you guys, which one of those 4 reasons why people fail to achieve their goals, which one of those did you most resonate with? For those of you who are on here and haven't clicked over to schedule with me yet, did you resonate mostly with procrastination, with lack of direction, with fear? What is it that really resonates for you? Type it in the chat box or go ahead and throw a question in the box. I'm gonna just, let's see if I can type one myself. Oh, no, I can't, only you can. 2 and 3, Liz said 2 and 3 resonated for you. So 2 and 3 was, I believe, procrastination. What were those, Liz? What order did I put them in? Procrastination, oh, all of the above. Yeah, I get that. And the doubt comes from fear, whoever wrote that, plus doubt. Yes, lack of direction. And if you guys remember, lack of direction is really from just not committing to one thing, right? So you're trying to stay open to all kinds of options. And when you do that, you don't end up doing anything, right? So it's all about focusing on one thing at a time so that you can complete that and then move on to the next thing. Okay, great. And like I said, doubt, that comes down to fear, right? That comes down to fear. Typically, when you have doubt that something's gonna work for you, it's because you base that on the fact that something in the past didn't work for you, or that you gave up on, you know, something in the past, right? And one thing I wanna remind you all is that the past doesn't exist. It really doesn't. It's like what I said when I shared my personal story. Once I realized that I was, you know, being influenced on my lack of goal setting by the environment that I grew up with, and that's not to shame anyone in my environment or in my lovely family at all. It's just the way that it is, right? Once I realized that, all it took for me to change was to do something different. That's all it did, you know? So I'm no longer dictated by my past, and none of us have to be, right? So whatever I failed at in the past has nothing to do with my ability to succeed going forward. And so I want you guys to remember that your past is just past. It's a memory. It doesn't even exist, right? This is what exists, the here and now. And it's up to you, because you're an adult and you have free will, right? It's up to you to decide and determine who you want to be from this point forward. It's up to you to write the chapters in your book, and you have every capability within you. If I can do it, if I can change my life, and if I can achieve goals that I've set for myself, so can you. I'm no more special than you are. The only thing is, I've taken some risks. I've put myself out there, regardless of if I fail or not. I've done things when I've been afraid. And just taking that action and following a system all the way through and getting guidance. I've had lots of coaches along the way in everything that I listed in my fitness goals and everything, all the way down the line in all my personal development. And just following through with those things is what has made the difference for me. And that's what will make the difference for you. How do you know when to focus on one thing versus going after more than one? And how do you prevent losing out or falling behind on other goals? For example, I need to lose weight / body fat, but really want to build more muscle. Do I focus on just losing weight / fat? I don't want to lose muscle or take. Okay, Those are really the same thing. Your goal there, you're losing fat, losing weight, and building muscle. So a trainer would be able to give you a specific plan specific to your body type and your goals. Okay. So I can't speak to exactly what you would do first. The two things actually kind of happen simultaneously, and then you can focus on one of them more when you get to a certain point. But that's all based on, you know, how much weight you need to lose and other factors. Okay. But the other question, the main question you asked is, how do you know when to focus on one thing versus going after more than one? You always focus on one thing. Now, does that mean I don't have more than one goal in 2018? No, I do. I have a professional goal, I have a personal goal, and I have a health goal. I always set up 3 big rocks for each year. And they typically have to do with my profession, you know, my business, my personal, you know, and my family, and my health. That's how I set it up for myself. But I focus on one thing at a time, meaning I have it structured quarterly, I have it structured monthly, and then weekly, and then daily, because what gets people into trouble a lot of the time is they set a goal, right? And then they just kind of, you know, they're motivated and they get going, and, you know, they start to do a bunch of things. And then as life starts to happen, they kind of get lost and like, oh, what do I need to do? How did I get off track? Or what? And the reason is because they failed to put into place daily things, daily habits, and daily structure that add up to achieving the big goal. So you got to have that big vision, but then you've got to work backwards into steps. And that's what I do when I'm coaching people who have big goals. Okay. We break it down so that it's manageable, so that it's not overwhelming, so that you don't get off track, and so that you have ways to measure your success along the way to see if you are on track. So most of the time, that's what people miss. Okay. So you don't want to be trying to do all this on this day and that on that day. And, you know, you don't want your energy to be dispersed. You want it to be focused. Right? So today, my only goal, my number one goal, is doing this training. Once that is finished to completion, then I can move on to something else, right? Same thing with my big business goal that I have for the year. I've got other really big goals that I want to do in my career, but one of those goals are going to have to wait until next year because I've got something I really want to focus on this year first. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Anybody else have a question? Anybody else have a question? We've got 1 minute. It's been such a joy to be on here with you all, and I hope that something that I shared really inspired you and really helped you to think about your goal setting for 2018 in a different way. I'm actually going to hop on my Facebook Live at 10:30 if you guys aren't sick of seeing me. If you want to jump over there, I'm only going to be on for 15 minutes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about your resolutions for 2018. And then that is it. You can catch me live on my Facebook page every single Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 7:30 a.m. Pacific. So that just go to Facebook.com/Coach My Mindset. Facebook.com/Coach My Mindset. Now, don't forget, the link is up at the top. Schedule a call. Get on the phone with me. Let's talk. Let's see what it is that you're really aspiring to in 2018. 2018 is a huge year in numerology. For any of you who understand numerology, or even if you don't, just be open to this. 2018 is a master year because it's an 11 year. It adds up to 11. And with it, 11, the number 11 has so much power, so much potential for opportunity for those who have planted the seeds. That also means that there's a lot of potential for challenge. And so that is why having a really good structure and plan going into it is really important. Because even when you have that plan and that structure, right, and you've put all those things into place, you're still going to have challenges, right? Things are still going to come up. but you won't be overwhelmed and you won't just throw your hands up in the air because you know how to stay on course, right? Because you've already got a system that you're following, right? So you don't just kind of falter. Okay, so so those of us who really have planted the seeds and continue to plant the seeds in 2018 are going to have huge success. We're going to really break through whatever that mindset barrier is that we've been stuck with, whatever that goal that we haven't been able to achieve, whatever that lifestyle change, that person that we're trying to attract, whatever that is. 2018 is the year that you really can do it. So you've got to be really purposeful with how you spend your time, with how you spend your energy, with the people that you surround yourself with the coaches and mentors that you choose, the company that you keep. It's really important in 2018. There's a big energy shift happening in 2018, and it's up to you to take advantage of that, okay? So I wanna thank you all for being here with me. It's always my pleasure to share what I know and to hopefully help someone else who wants it. Thank you all. Bye, Mabel, Liz, all of you who are on here, Lynette, DB. Thank you all for joining, and click that link, make an appointment to talk to me. I've only got 3 spots left. I'm so excited. I'm almost completely full, and I'm gonna have some amazing people to work with and to have great success with in 2018. See you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Thanks for joining me this morning. Let's see, I'm trying to log off. There we go.